Back out here. Give you guys a little bit to get in before we get started today. Come on in, family. Come on in. We're going to get started in a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a little bit to get in here before we get going. What's up, babe? What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, it's something about being out here in nature. What's up, Chanel? Something about being out here in nature and you being able to hear the birds and, man, just seeing the trees and everything. Goes to Scott, Scorpio Lady, BBY Blue, whatever, Baby Blue. I don't know if that's what that means, but, man, I was making a video earlier today and, man, I was doing a live earlier this morning and was catching all kind of flack, you know what I mean? And I'm the type of person, man, I don't let anything stop me. My mentality is, man, you can't stop what we doing. You know what I mean? You can't stop the train. You can slow it down, you know what I mean? And you only slowing it down for a reason. There's a bigger picture at play, you know what I mean? But we're going to get back on and we're going to make another video just because you didn't want this one to go out earlier. You know what I mean? Just because we caught the hell that we did earlier, just for that, I'm going to do another live today. And that's the reason why I'm doing this live right here. Man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, may God bless each and every one of you that are here on this live. For those of you that catch this on the YouTube replay, man, may God bless you as well. You know what I mean? May God bless you as well. Family, I get asked so much. Today's going to be heavy. This is going to be heavy. This is why I'm out here in nature. You know what I mean? I love being out in nature, but this is where I ground it. You know what I mean? This is where I feel the presence of God the most. You know what I mean? This is where I hear the birds, and this is just, man, this is my sanctuary. You know what I mean? This is my sanctuary. And it's like, man, I don't care what's going on in life. Man, I just get me some nature. You know what I mean? Get around nature, and I'm good. You know what I mean? Just let me smell the fresh air, the trees, the flowers, everything's blossoming. Family, how do you let go? The trip is, most of us don't even realize what we're carrying. You know what I mean? Most of us don't even realize the baggage and the crap that we carry on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Years ago, my kids and I, they were babies at the time. They were the only two kids I had at the time. And on Friday nights, we would climb up in my bed and eat junk and watch movies all night, right? And one of the movies that we went and got, the Blockbuster, guys, it shows you how long ago this was, you know what I mean? We went to Blockbuster and got some movies, and one of them was Tai Chi Masters. I believe it's Tai Chi Masters, right? And there was a story of two brothers, that their father was a kung fu master, big guy, important person, and these bad guys came in and, man, just killed everybody in their community, right? Except for these two little boys. These two little boys was able to escape. And so one of the brothers, he saw what transpired, and they went their own way, and the one kid saw what happened, and he vowed never to become a victim again, never be in a situation again to where he would get hurt, never be weak again. And so he joined another gang, and, man, he became this fearless leader, you know what I mean? And they just created havoc, and he did that out of his fear. He did that out of his trauma. Stay with me. We're going to go somewhere today. We're talking about letting it go, letting go. He saw his mother and father murdered. What's up, AA? He saw his mother and father murdered. He saw the other people in the community murdered. And he vowed to never be a victim again. And so he joins the local gang and becomes the fearless leader after a while. And he has all the respect he wanted, all the women, all the money, all the other stuff, right? Why? Because he never wanted to be seen as weak. He never wanted to be helpless again. And so he joined the gang. His other brother, or his brother, saw what transpired. He was there, witnessed the same stuff. His mentality was, man, I need to master Kung Fu so that I can help these people, so that I could stop people from being used and abused, so I could be a protector, so that I could be a beacon of hope, so that I could be seen in the community, not so much for how great I am, but may we live in peace. May we live in harmony. What's up, Libra Love? And so their mentalities were totally different. And their mentalities were both based on the experiences that they just saw, the crap that they just went through. The same trauma brought about two different results. The trip is, most of us as kids, I'm just the camera a little bit, most of us as kids, we go through stuff and we don't realize how much it affects us. We don't realize how much it damages us. We don't realize how bad it has a hold of us. And the trip is, man, we grow up and we think that's normal. We grow up fighting and cussing and not trusting people, and women that have been abused, they grow up not trusting guys, and guys grow up that's been abused, and whatever the case may be, and they become angry and whatever the stuff they choose to do. You know what I mean? We all choose different results. We have the same trauma, the same madness, but we choose different things. We don't understand that we're making a conscious choice when case in point, when I was at the prison in California as a counselor, this young lady was working with me, and she allowed herself to become obese. And we were counseling the inmates, and she was new to the yard, so she worked for me. I was in charge of the orientation department, and I was talking to her a little bit, just trying to get to understand her, get to know her better. And so one day we're in the office talking, all the inmates were locked up, and she just broke down, started talking to me. And I've always had that type of personality where people just opened up and just started, just floodgates opened up and they just share their story, right? What's up, Thomas? Man, and so she's just sharing her story. She's talking about, man, Elijah, you said something earlier when you were doing your, I was giving not a sermon, but a lecture to the inmates, and just talking about life stuff. And she was sitting there, she's like, man, Elijah, what you said really hit me. It really messed me up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, man, for the first time in my life, I think I understand why I am the way that I am. I'm like, huh? What? Because it just came out of the left field. I didn't know where she was going with this, right? And so she's sitting there and she's crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stand people getting emotional around me, right? And so I'm like, here we go, And it's just the two of us in the office. And she's like, just crying, the tears are coming down. And she's just opening up, and it's just like, da, 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 da. And she said, Elijah, when I was a little girl, I used to be real pretty. I know you can't believe that right now looking at me, but I was real pretty. My family wanted to put me in all these commercials and stuff because I was so pretty. They had all these pictures of me with makeup on and little dresses on and all this other stuff. And I was the princess, and I was, real gorgeous. And as I got a little older, I was still beautiful. She said, but one of my uncles molested me. Then one of my cousins molested me. And that messed with me, and that messed me up. Stay with me. We're talking about let it go. Letting it go. And so she's sitting there and she's crying, and she's a grown woman. She's probably in her late 20s now, just bawling and crying, talking about how she had been molested by her uncle and then molested by her cousin. And now it's hitting her after hearing me talk to the inmates, and it's finally resonating with her. And she's understanding why she's the way she is. She's now able to understand why she's overweight. And I'm like, what do you stand? What do you mean? She said, when I was a kid, man, because I was so beautiful, I felt like like I couldn't protect myself. I felt like guys were going to use me. Guys were going to hurt me because of how I looked. Because I was so attracted to guys, or because guys were so attracted to my beauty, they caused me so much pain. Letting the plane go. And that's a sad thing, family. When your beauty causes pain, stay with me. When your beauty causes you pain. And so she's sitting there and she's bawling and crying and talking about, man, my beauty was the catalyst for me going through the hell that I went through. If I wasn't pretty, if I wasn't beautiful, I would have never got molested. This is what she's saying to me. She would have never got molested by her uncle. If she wasn't pretty, if she didn't look the way she did, her cousin wouldn't have been attracted to her and he wouldn't have molested her. And so therefore, in her logic, her beauty was the reason why she was molested. So now I got to do anything but look beautiful. I got to be anything but pretty. I got to be anything but attractive. Because being attractive causes me pain. Being attractive causes me unnecessary attention. And so she let herself go. And she let herself go because she didn't want to be pretty anymore. Because she didn't want to be seen as attractive anymore. Because now, as an overweight woman, people laugh at her and people smile and smirk at her, but nobody molests her. Nobody rapes her. So I'm going to let it go, letting it go. Getting back to the story. So the story comes, they go through their young adult life, talking about the two Kung Fu masters. And it comes to this crescendo, there's this epic battle at the end where they have to face each other. And the good monk, if you will, the one that's a protector of the community, he tells his brother, why? He asks his brother, why do you do what you do? And the brother tells him, because I'm not going to go hungry anymore, because I'm not going to let people hurt me anymore, because I'm not going to do this, And so he's got this long laundry list of the pain and the suffering that was inflicted on him as a kid. And because he doesn't want to experience that again, man, he's the way that he is. And his brother looks at him and says, your past was to prepare you for your future, not imprison you in it. I'm going to say that again. The monk that became the protector of the community looked at his brother, who was the leader of the gang, that was terrorizing everybody and victimizing everybody else because he had been victimized. And when you guys hear me say it all the time, hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. Hurt people hurt people. But healed people heal people. And so you got one brother who took the pain and suffering. He allowed it to make him, man, I'm going to do good for the community. I'm going to be a protector of the community. I'm going to look out for the little kids. I'm going to look out for the orphans. I'm going to look out for the elderly. I'm going to look out for the women. I'm going to look out for the men that are incapable of defending themselves. What he was saying, I'm going to be the voice for the voiceless. The other brother, man, because of his pain and his trauma and his drama, man, he became a victim, a victor, you know what I mean? And what I'm saying, he became one of the people victimizing everybody else. And so, then they go through their little battle and they fight. And obviously the quote unquote good brother won. And the other brother's crying and he's broken because he doesn't understand how his brother could have gone through the exact same thing that he did. How could his brother, and he's always saw his brother as weak. He always saw his brother as a punk. He always saw his brother as a coward. And it's crazy how we get stuff twisted in our minds. The bad guy, if you will, he's looking at his brother who experienced the same pain, experienced the same loss. But because he doesn't go out and start victimizing other people, because he doesn't become angry and bitter and hateful and do bad stuff like everybody else is doing, he sees that brother as a punk, as a coward. He doesn't understand. How could you be so nice? How could you be so loving? How could you be so compassionate? After all the hell we've gone through, after all that we've lost, how could you be this way? How come you're not angry? How come you're not bitter? How come you're not pissed off? Brother says, I let it go. That's not who I choose to be. That's not who I came here to be. Family, it's a choice for every one of us. Every single one of us have a choice. Whether you make the choice or not, whether you consciously make the choice or not, you made the choice. I'm going to say it again. Let me see if I can say it differently. Whether you consciously choose to make a choice or not, you are making a choice. When I was a little kid, you guys know my story. Man, saw my dad murder my mom, stabbed her all these 49 times, all right? And so, man, I'm sitting there as a little kid, crying and screaming, and nobody hears me. I'm full of hurt and feel hopeless and helpless and all this other stuff, right? And so I grew up and I'm abused. I'm dogged out sexually, physically, just beat the snot out of, you know what I mean? As a little kid, as a little 6-year-old kid, man, we getting the snot beat out of us, you know what I mean? Emotionally abused, all this other stuff, right? And so I grow up angry as hell, mad at the world, mad at God, blaming God for my life. I'm blaming God because my mama was murdered. I'm blaming God that I'm now put in this environment. This environment where I'm physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually violated. It's God's fault. That's what I reasoned as a little kid. So I'm mad and angry at the world. I made a choice. I made a choice. That's not who I was at my core. But I made a choice to be angry because I hadn't let stuff go. I didn't know how to let it go. And so, I made a video a while back about this. And God had to show me years and years and years ago about the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer. We're talking about letting it go. We're talking about letting it go. The thermostat. Every one of us, we're either a thermostat or a thermometer. Every one of you. I don't care how you're watching this, whether you're watching it on live or whether you're watching it later on the replay. Every single one of us, we are either a thermostat or a thermometer. That's all we are. But we have the choice to choose which one we're going to be. The difference. And God had to break it down to me. It was profound. Stay with me. He said, Elijah, right now, you're acting like a thermometer. You're acting like a victim. And I'm mad at God. I was like, I am a fucking victim. What the hell are you talking about? It ain't my fault my dad killed my mom. It ain't my fault I was sexually abused and all this. And so I'm going down the list of everything that's happened to me. And God is sitting there, I know. But you didn't have to react the way you did. You don't have to carry it all these years. And so now I'm like, oh my God. What am I supposed to do? All they told me about was religion. All they told me about was coming to church. All they told me about was Jesus and praying. And I was doing all that. And the next week I was molested at church. So praying didn't work for me. Crying out to you guys didn't work for me. Because I was crying out for my family, asking you to protect my family, and telling you I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll go anywhere you want me to go. Just look out for my family. Just protect my family. And then I was molested in your church, in the house of the Lord. And so I'm pissed and I'm angry. I'm a victim. And God was telling me, I know. I was there when you was molested. I was there when your daddy murdered your mom. I was there when you was screaming out and crying. I was there when you were sexually assaulted. I was there when you were emotionally beat down. I was there when they physically beat the out of you. I was there. He said, Elijah, you have a choice. You have a choice. He said, you've been carrying that for all these years. And what has it done for you? It's made you angry. It's made you pissed off. It's made you untrusting. It's made you unforgiving. It's made you judgmental. It's made you self-righteous. Hurt people hurt people. Elijah, because you were sexually assaulted, because you didn't have your father in your life, you grew up questioning your sexual identity. And so you're sleeping with all these women, trying to prove that you're not gay. And in the process, these women are getting hurt. In the process, some of these women care about you, and you don't care nothing about them. They're just a means to an ends to you. They're just there to help you prove that, man, I'm a man. I'm not gay. You had your own little demons you were fighting in your head. And so all you used these women for was just, man, just help me prove that I'm not gay. They don't know nothing going on in your head. They didn't know the struggles you were dealing with. Talking about letting it go. How do you let it go? He said, Elijah, a lot of them were hurt. You made soul ties with people you should have never connected with. So instead of you making your life better, you made it worse because of the choices you made. So many of us, man, because we went through rough childhoods, because we were abandoned by our family, because we were sexually assaulted and emotionally beat down, and many of us got into drugs. Many of us got into alcohol. Many of us got into toxic ass fucking relationships that didn't serve our greater good. And so our choices to run away from our home, our choices to get out of this situation, our choices to slam dope, our choices to get high, our choices to get drunk, our choices to be promiscuous and have sex with anybody. All they did was create more problems for us. That's all they did. They just gave you more issues to deal with. They masked the pain. They were a band-aid for the pain. But after it was over, now you got more issues to deal with. Not only do you got to deal with your childhood drama, now you got to deal with all these fucking soul ties. Now you got to deal with this alcohol, this chemical dependency you got. Because so many of us jumped in toxic relationships where they were beat, where you were beat in these relationships. Now you got this emotional baggage and trauma and drama. Letting it go. Going back to the thermostat and the thermometer. He said, Elijah, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. You could be a thermometer or you could be a thermostat. Let me tell you the difference. I'm sitting there, I'm crying. He said, a thermometer is only capable of telling you the temperature of the environment. Stay with me. Many of us, we grown ass adults. We could tell you everything going on in the world. We could tell you how negative and toxic our communities are. We could tell you how chaotic the young boys are. We could tell you how violent the gangs is. We could tell you how hard the streets are. We could tell you about the prison system. We could tell you about the promiscuity. We could tell you about the suicide rates. We could tell you about all this crazy stuff. We could tell you the temperature. But we're incapable of changing our environment. A thermometer cannot change its environment. It's powerless to changing its environment. When you get sick, when your babies get sick, man, they used to take a thermometer and put it up under our tongue and let it sit there for a minute. And they're like, yep, your temperature is 99, your temperature is 101, or whatever the case may be. That's all a thermometer could do, was tell you how hot it is. All it could do was tell you the temperature of the environment. said, Elijah, as long as you stay a victim, you're going to be a thermometer. As long as you stay a victim, you're going to have a thermometer life. What's up, Linda? And many of us have a thermometer life. When we came here to have a thermostat life, what's the difference? The thermostat says, hold on, wait a minute. The thermostat is stuck on the wall. The thermostat is mounted somewhere. The thermostat says, hold on, wait a minute. The temperature in this environment isn't conducive to what I want it to be. The thermostat says the temperature in this environment is too hot or it's too cold. I'm going to change the environment because I don't like the environment of the room. It's too cold, so I'm going to raise the temperature up some. It's too hot, so I'm going to cool the room off some. That's the power of a thermostat. Heal people, heal people. When you walk in a room as a healer, as somebody that's dealt with your trauma, as somebody that's dealt with your trauma and your childhood drama and all that other crap. When you walk in the room, your presence, your aura, your energy, your vibe says, man, there's something different about this person. Man, there's something particular about this person. Man, there's something magical. There's something mystical about this person. I can't put my hands in it. Man, their energy is off the hook. Man, their frequency is so high. Man, what the heck is going on with this person? Why? Because all they did was walk in the room and the environment shifted. All they did was walk in the room and they made their presence known. They didn't open up their mouth. They didn't pop their collar and talk about, I'm here, I'm on point, I'm here. They didn't say nothing. They just walked in the room and their energy said it all. So the thermostat, as healers, people come around you and they see there's something different about you. As thermostat, people come around you and they say, man, I don't know what it is about you. I don't know what's going on with you. But man, I feel like I've known you for a long time. I feel like I can trust you. I don't even know you. But man, let me share something with you. Man, when I was a kid, man, just the other day, I was out and my husband did da-da-da-da-da. And so you got all these people just walking up to you. What's up, JetBlue? All these people walking up to you and sharing their story with you. All these people walking up to you and wanting to just be in your presence. Why? Because in your presence, they feel safe. In your presence, they feel like, man, I can relax. In your presence, they feel comfortable. In your presence, they don't feel judged. In your presence, they feel the power of love, the power of acceptance. Because you put the work in. See, a thermostat says, man, as human beings, as thermostats, we say, man, nah, I grew up in the hood. I grew up on the streets. I grew up slamming dope. I grew up chasing hoes. I grew up doing all this other stupid shit. Well, nah. We ain't doing that no more. We ain't doing that no more. I ain't talking about that stupid stuff no more. I like the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Lakers and the Giants. But you know, there's more important things to talk about other than sports. There's more important things to talk about other than politics. There's more important stuff to talk about other than all the superficial shit that get us all engulfed and distracted and divided. See, once you heal yourself, it's like, man, I ain't got time for the bullshit. To each their own. But I didn't come here to get distracted with what's going on over here. I didn't come here to get distracted with all this stupid shit. My time is limited. Man, I got to put some work in. Man, we got to make some changes. I'm not here to judge nobody. At the same time, I'm here to change the environment of my surroundings. I don't like my surroundings. I don't like the way my community is. I don't like how toxic and negative it is. So my job is to change my environment because I'm a thermostat. My job is to change the lives of those around me. Why? Because I'm a thermostat. What does that got to do with letting go? In order for you to become a thermostat, you got to accept some shit. You got to accept some stuff. In order for you to become a thermostat, in order for you to become a beacon of hope, a beacon of love and compassion and joy and woo-doo-doo, all this positive stuff, in order for you to be that, man, you got to understand why you are the way you are. You got to understand why the hell and I'm still carrying this bullshit. If I didn't like it back then when I was a kid, I didn't like being judged as a kid. I didn't like all the shit that I went through as a kid. I didn't like all the negative crap I heard as a kid. I didn't like it as a teenager. I didn't like it in my 20s. I didn't like it in my 30s. I didn't like it in my 40s. I'm in my 50s now. Why in the fuck do I think I'm gonna like it now? If I didn't like it all them years, for all those decades, what makes me think that it's gonna make me any better now? See, the trip is, man, it's humid out here. I'm sorry for all the sweating, but man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so it was a game that we used to play as kids, and I'm pretty sure most people have heard of this game, hot potato. Hot potato. And what it was is, it wasn't a potato, but it was a ball. It was anything. And we had it in a big circle, and we were just throwing it back and forth to each other, and we treated it like it was a hot potato. We didn't want to get stuck with it. Crazy thing is, that's how we should be with all that negative crap. The crazy thing is, that's how we should be with all that toxic shit. But that's not what we do. When it comes to all the toxic stuff that we've been holding for years, man, we hold that crap in. We don't want to talk to nobody about it. We don't want to open up and share with it. And it's a trip because most guys are too prideful to go to counseling. Most guys are too proud to go to a marriage therapist. And so they allow their marriage to crumble and lose their family because of their fucking pride. Because they're a thug. They're a man. They don't need another man telling them how they're supposed to think and how they're supposed to feel and woo-doo-woo-doo and all this other bullshit. And the woman's crying out to, man, just go to counseling with me. Just go sit there with me for a little while. Just go for a week with me. And no, I'm not doing that bullshit. And so we don't get the help we need. And guys, we don't talk like women talk. We don't open up and talk about our emotions and our feelings like women do. We just hold that shit in. And we think that makes us tough. We think that makes us a man. I'm hard. No, you're fucking ignorant. You're ignorant. There's nothing hard about that. Nothing tough about that. That's ignorance. That's pride. That's ego. It's keeping you fucked up. Shit. As young men, and most guys probably could relate to this. Most boys, when they fall, mom, the dad, grandma, everybody else, get up. You all right. Stop, don't cry. Boys, don't cry. Men, don't cry. Big boys, don't cry. And so guys, we learn from a little kid, man, I can't show emotion. We learn from a little kid, man, I can't cry. Because if I cry, that makes me less manly. If I cry, that makes me a punk. If I cry, if I show my emotions, that makes me a sissy. Oh, we going in today. We going in. We're going to keep it real today. That's what we do on this channel. And our little girls learn, man, when they fall, man, dads come running, picking them up. Man, baby, you okay? Let me kiss your owie. Let me kiss your boo-boo. And we kissing with them where they fell at and all this other stupid shit. And so the girls learn, man, it's okay for them to be emotional. It's okay for when they get hurt to talk about their pain, to talk about where they hurt at. But the guys are not taught that. They're told to suppress the shit. And the only time that they're able to be emotional is on a fucking court somewhere. Whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's boxing, whether it's in a fight. That's the only time you can show some emotion. And it's aggression. And then we wonder why these same boys grow up. These same young guys grow up and they get married. And because they haven't learned to let go of that toxic ass belief system, they're in this relationship now. And their woman wants to cry. Their woman wants to open up and talk to them. Their woman wants to just bear out her story and her emotions and her pain and her hurt. And he ain't trying to hear that bullshit. Guys ain't trying to hear no woman, cry about their feelings. We ain't trying to have that conversation. Get on the phone, call Betty Sue, Mary Jane, or whoever else you need to call, but I'm not that one. We don't want to talk about that. Ladies, it's not that they don't love you. It's not that they don't care about you. It's not that they're intentionally invalidating, because they are invalidating your feelings. They are invalidating your emotional state. But it's not intentional. It's not about you. It's not about you. I'm going to share something with you right here. The reason guys don't do that, the reason why guys, for the most part, don't want to be around you when you're crying and you're emotional is because we've never learned how to deal with our fucking emotions. And so you become a trigger. Seeing you cry, seeing you whine, not whine, but seeing you going through your stuff, man, it becomes a trigger to me. It's a reminder to me, I got my own fucking emotional baggage. I got my own trauma that I'm fucking carrying, and I can't talk to nobody about this. And so seeing you crying and hearing you crying and talking about this, man, it's making my shit come up. And I don't know how to deal with my shit when it come up. So we gonna push that shit back down. Shut up, go get me a beer, get me something to drink. And that's what we do as guys, for the most part. When we get emotional like that, man, I gotta get something to drink. Man, I gotta smoke some shit. You know what I mean? We just keeping it real here. That's what we do. It is what it is, because they haven't learned how to deal with their emotions. They haven't learned how to express their emotions. And the only time that guys feel safe to express their emotions, it's a big basketball game, football game, soccer tournaments, anything that got to do with sports. If their team wins, man, you'll see these same guys that's tough, that's hard, that's tatted up, that's thugged the fuck out. You'll see these same guys that's too hard to talk to you, that's too tough to listen to you. You'll see these same motherfuckers hugging dudes and giving each other embraces and whatever, and high fives and all this other shit at a basketball game, at a football game. Let their team go to the championship. Let their team win the championship. And you'll see these hard dudes. You'll see all these guys by the thousands. Tears running down their eyes. They're so fucking happy. They're hugging everybody. They're doing all kind of shit. Nobody giving a fuck about race shit. Nobody giving a fuck about your religion. Nobody giving a fuck about your ethnicity. Nobody giving a fuck about your sexuality. All the shit that keep us divided now. Now in this tournament, man, my team won. You're on my team. We're in the same team. We're cheering for the same team. And our team won. And we're hugging motherfuckers we don't even know. We're hugging races and ethnicities and all this other shit that we wouldn't even talk to prior to the game. Let their team lose. Man, they're tearing up some shit. They're burning up some shit. They're burning up some shit. They're going to terrorize the whole fucking community. They're going to burn up police cars. They're going to destroy some shit. It is what it is. It's not just an American thing. Watch some of the soccer tournaments overseas. And it's the same shit. It's the same shit. Why? Because as guys, we haven't learned how to deal with our emotions. What's this got to do with letting it go? We too old for this bullshit, family. We too old for the bullshit. Man, I don't care if you're in your 20s. If you're in your 20s, whatever happened to you as a kid, we should have let that shit go. We should have let that shit go way back then. But we didn't. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We can let the shit go today. We can let the shit go now. There's no sense in carrying that pain, that trauma, that drama any further. You ain't got to keep carrying that shit with you. You do so because you're making a choice. How do you let it go? You let it go by making a conscious choice. I'm not dealing with this bullshit no more. I want love. I want peace. I want joy. I want joy. I'm tired of not sleeping. I'm tired of being frustrated. I'm tired of being suicidal. I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of being a fucking victim. I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of judging people. I'm tired of not forgiving people. How do we let it go? We let it go by a number of ways. Understanding that letting it go is a process. It's a process. It's a process. Look at your life. And I don't care what you've been through. Whatever it is you've gone through, understand there's a lot of people that have gone through so much more. Understand there's a lot of people that's had it so much harder. Why am I saying that? Because when we're a victim, as long as we're holding on to all this crap, we have a victim mentality. And as long as you have a victim mentality, you can't be grateful. You can't be grateful. So what we have to do, let it go. Understanding it was a process of you coming into your own, a process of self-awareness, a process of you understanding who you are. All of those things, however traumatic they were, however debilitating they were, was a process to bring you to this point to where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you just throw up your hands and say, I'm done. I'm done. I can't carry this shit anymore. I can't carry it anymore. And let it go. Let it go. Let it go. How do you let it go? Determine that you want better. Determine that you want the opposite of all of that shit that you've been carrying, because you understand that all that you've been carrying, all those negative experiences, all that trauma, all that drama, all that did was bring you frustration, bring you hurt, bring you loneliness, bring you depression, bring you suicidal thoughts, bring you homicidal thoughts, bring you anger, hatred, and all these other low vibrating frequencies. And decide, as a thermostat, how can I change my environment to a more loving, a more compassionate, a more giving, a safer place? How can I be a beacon of hope to all the kids that are going through what I went through? How can I be a beacon to all the women that have been molested and raped and beaten and dogged the fuck up? How can I give them hope? How can I encourage them? How can I inspire them? I don't want the rest of the young girls growing up and making the same mistakes that I made. I don't want any other girl to grow up and think that, man, you got to sleep with the first guy that come along. Why? Because you went through this, da. I don't want that young lady, I don't care who they are, slamming dope. Because she's looking to be validated, because she's looking to be loved. I see the mistakes that I made. I see the choices that I made. And man, if I can help somebody, if I can help one person not make the same mistakes I've made, then man, so be it. If I can help a lot of people not make the mistakes that I've made, then man, so be it. So be it. We go through what we go through because it's supposed to help us reach our full potential. It's supposed to give us the power, the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom, the insight to certain things so that we could turn around and take our experiences and be a beacon of hope, of love to others who are in that dark place. They're in their dark place and they're slamming dope. They're in their dark space and they're suicidal. They're in their dark space and they're homicidal. They're in their dark space and they're thinking about running away from home. They're in their dark space and they're thinking about just ending it all. How can I help them? How can I help somebody not commit suicide? How can I help somebody not go through the shit that I went through? How can I help somebody that's constantly cutting on themselves? And do it. Do it. It's easy to talk about stuff. It's easy to talk about being a beacon of hope and love. And it's easy to sit there and say, man, we're a chosen one. Man, we're this and we're star season. We're all this other crazy shit. It's easy to say that shit. It's easy to give ourselves titles. I'm a king. I'm a queen. I'm a boss. And you're still fucked up. And you still ain't doing shit to make the community a better place. You still ain't doing shit to make the lives of others any better. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. We have to understand that, man, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than us. And then that was a hard lesson for me to learn. And it was only hard because I wanted to stay a victim. I wanted to stay angry. I felt righteous in my anger. I felt righteous in my judgment. And my hatred towards my dad and my childhood and all those involved. I was righteous in my anger. But I wasn't helping anybody. I wasn't helping myself. All I was doing was causing me more pain, causing me more suffering. And the people around me were suffering. It wasn't my intention to hurt anybody around me. But hurt people hurt people. Healed people heal people. And so, we have to make a conscious decision. Man, are we going to operate on a frequency of love, of joy, of gratitude, of forgiveness? Or are we going to keep operating on that low frequency of hate, of anger, of judgment, of resentment, animosity? hatred and all that other toxic stuff. We have a choice. We always have a choice. We've always had a choice. Just because we didn't understand that we had a choice doesn't mean that you didn't have a choice. Something I want to share with you. One of the hardest things for us to do is to forgive ourselves. One of the hardest things for us to do is just to let it go. Let the mistakes go that we've made. And I want to share this with you. How do you let that go? Because it's easier for us to forgive other people than it is for us to forgive ourselves. And so we sit back and it's like, man, I fucked up. I've wasted so much time. I wasted so much opportunity. I blew so much and and I've squandered this and Family, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're right where you're supposed to be. You're right where you're supposed to be. Understand, all the shit that you went through because of the quote unquote bad choices that you made. All of that shit. All of that. You have experience from that. You've gained some insight from that. You've gained some knowledge from that. That you would never have had. That you would have never gotten. So you had to make those choices to get that knowledge, to get that insight. Now, you can sit there and talk to, whether you was a drug addict, whether you was homeless, whether you spent time in the prison system or whatever you did, whether you was an abused person, using abusive relationships, or whatever it is that you went through, you can now talk to people who are still in that situation. You can help people that's going through what you went through. And so when you take all of the hell that you went through and you reclaim your power, you reclaim your voice, and you start being a beacon and helping other people, you flow in your authority. You flow in your purpose. Now you're healing other people. You taken all the pain and you converted all of that energy into fuel to be a beacon of hope and a role model for others. People say all the time, when I worked at the prison, how can you tell me about being an inmate if you've never been an inmate? How can you tell me about being on dope if you've never been on dope? How can you tell me about being homeless if you ain't never been homeless? How can you tell me about struggling as a single parent if you ain't never been a single parent? We go through what we go through because that's part of our purpose. That's part of our purpose. We just have to change our perspective of it. We have a victim mentality. And as long as you have a victim mentality, you'll never see the benefits of what you've gone through. Let me say it this way. And I tell people this all the time. Remember, I saw my father murder my mom. Molested twice at 6. Physically abused, emotionally abused, all that other stuff, right? Family, man, I can honestly say I'm grateful for everything I've gone through. If I had to do it all over again, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. Why? Because I understand the benefits. Oh, it hurt me bad. Oh, it hurt. But I understand the benefits. If I hadn't gone through what I've gone through, I wouldn't have been able to help and speak into the lives of all the kids that I did. Because at one point in time, I was suicidal. I could speak on suicide and contemplating suicide because I've been there. I could speak on being depressed. Severely depressed. Where I went from 235 pounds solid muscles to less than 150 pounds in less than one summer. In less than 3 months, I lost almost 100 pounds. Depressed. Depressed. Tell you the beauty about life. The beauty about life. The beauty about getting in connection with God. And when I talk about getting in connection with God, I'm not talking about religion. Okay? The beauty about life is when you learn the lessons and you start walking in your God-given purpose. People look at you and they're like, dang, you don't look like you've gone through nothing. Man, you don't look your age. Man, how could you have gone through all the hell that you've gone through and you don't look like you've gone through that stuff? You don't act like you've gone through that stuff. What they're saying is, Elijah, you don't act like a victim. Elijah, you don't have a victim mentality. Elijah, you're vibrating on a higher frequency than all that negative shit. How did you do it? How did you go from being all of this shit and groomed and prepared to spend the rest of your life in prison like your dad? How did you go from all that hatred and anger and toxic shit and become the person you are today? By letting it go. By making the decision that that's not what I wanted anymore. By making the decision that I wanted to spread love. That I wanted to manifest love. That I wanted to be a beacon of love, of joy. So that when people saw me, they didn't see my pain. When people saw me, they didn't see my anger. When people saw me, they didn't see the suffering that I've gone through. When they saw me, they saw hope. When they saw me, they saw love. They saw compassion. That's what I wanted. So, but in order to get there, I had to let go of all that other crap. You can't have a victim mentality and have that peace of mind that passes all understanding. You can't be angry and bitter and resentful and unforgiving and hateful and be filled with love all at the same time. Polar ends of the spectrum. You choose what frequency you're going to be on. Either you're going to be a frequency of love or you're going to be on a frequency of all that negative, toxic crap. The choice is yours. You can't do both. You could go back and forth between them, but you can't do both of them simultaneously. You can't be suicidal and have joy at the same time. You can't be suicidal and be filled with gratitude. You can't. You cannot. You make a conscious decision or subconscious decision, unconscious decision to go between those frequencies. At one moment, you could be in a frequency of love and giving and all this other stuff. And then you can make another decision to go right back down to all that negative, toxic crap. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. It's going to always be yours. Being out here in nature is grounding. Being out here in nature is refreshing. Being out here in nature, the fresh air, soaking up the trees, soaking up the aroma, listening to the animals, seeing the animals. It's liberating. It's freeing. It's uplifting. We make a choice. Every single one of us. Every single one of us make a conscious decision. How are you going to live? How are you going to live? It doesn't matter what community you came from. It doesn't matter how you started out. It doesn't matter how crazy your family was. It doesn't matter how broke and poor you were. It doesn't matter how broke you are now. It doesn't matter what you have now. Every second, we have a choice to choose. Do I continue on the path I'm on, or am I going to change? Do I want something different? Do I want something better? Am I going to seek the help that I need to help me unlock all of this pain, to unlock all of this trauma, to unlock all of this baggage that I've been carrying for years? Or am I going to keep carrying it? Keep slamming dope. Keep chasing relationships, thinking that that's the answer. There's a saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. Say it again. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. See, for many of us that are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, man, we've been dealing with the same toxic ass fucking shit for years, for decades, the same way. The same way. And we've never gotten the results that we were looking for. We've never found the king and queen we were looking for. We never found the success that we were looking for. We never found the joy and the peace and the happiness we were looking for. I'm going to tell you guys something. It's nobody's responsibility to make you happy but yours. A woman can't make you happy. A guy can't make you happy. A job can't make you happy. Money can't make you happy. That stuff can't give you joy. Joy, happiness, love, all of that comes from within you. It comes from within you. You can have people loving you and you still hate yourself and still be suicidal and still slam dope. And you know your mama love you. You know your wife love you. You know your kids love you. And you still slamming dope. Still in and out of the streets. In and out of the prison system. They love you. But until you decide, I'm going to change, their love don't mean anything. Their love is completely useless when it comes to your life. Because you have to decide, man, I got to stop doing this. I got to change. I have to change. It doesn't matter how many people love me if I don't love myself. The world is filled with people who've committed suicide. Think about this for a second. In America right now, there's like this epidemic of just young people just committing suicide, and they haven't even gotten to the prime of their life yet. They haven't even reached the age of just, man, of having stuff figured out. They haven't got to the prime yet. And they're already taking their life. They're already ending it all. And they leave behind a bunch of family members, friends who loved them, who adored them. But for whatever reason, whatever it was that they were dealing with, whatever the pain was that they were carrying, whatever the frustration and hurt that they were carrying, was more important to them than everybody else's love. All of the hurt, whatever it was that they were dealing with, was more important to them, was of more value to them than everybody else's love. Because they didn't love themselves. Because they didn't value themselves. And because they didn't know how to let it go. And the only way for them to let it go was to give up on life. Was to take their own life. And that was their way of letting it go. Letting go of the pain. Because if I kill myself, then I won't be in pain anymore. I'm not judging them. I do not stand in judgment of anyone. I've been there. I've been there. Man, 2016, I went to China. I was there for 3.5 months. Truth be told, family, I did not want to come back. Didn't plan on coming back. My wife had passed away at the time. I was done. My brother passed away the year before from colon cancer. My wife passed away at the end of 2015 to breast cancer. I was done. I was done with God fucking my life up. That's my thought process at that time, because I kept being hurt over and over and over and over and over again. I didn't think that I could be happy, because to me at that time it seemed like God just kept fucking with me. He would let me be happy for a minute and then snatch the shit away. Let me be happy for a minute and just snatch the shit away. And it was just a cycle that I kept going through in my life. And I was tired of playing the game. And I wanted to check out. And I tried to check out. Thanks to the grace of God, I'm still here. But I learned something, and that taught me something. It don't matter what you think you know. It don't matter how important you think you are, all the knowledge you have, all the money you have. And I started looking around at all these people, Robin Williams, and all these other people who had all this money. And they committed suicide. All these rich people, and they're strung out on dope. Because they didn't know how to let it go. And see, so many of us that think that because we're poor or because we don't have a relationship, we think, man, if I get a guy, if I get a woman, that's my answer, that's my ticket. No, it's not. No, it's not. You got to deal with you. You got to deal with your stuff. You have to deal with your stuff. You have to make a conscious decision. Man, I'm done. I'm going to be a beacon of hope, a beacon of love. I'm going to vibrate on a high frequency. And when people come around me with all that negative bullshit, man, I'm cutting that shit off. Nope. I value my peace. I value my joy. I'm not allowing you to bring your negative, toxic shit around me. Either you got to change or you got to go. Let me say it again. If you're a thermostat and these people come around you with all their negative, toxic bullshit, and they don't want to grow the fuck up, and they want to stay a victim, and why me, and woe is me, and all this other bullshit, and they want to keep that mentality, man, you're going to have to cut their fucking ass off. That's part of letting it go too, is establishing healthy boundaries and understanding, man, everybody ain't got to be in my fucking life. I can love you from a distance. I don't give a fuck if you my mama, my daddy, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my nephew, my son, my daughter. None of that shit matters to me. What all that matters is my peace of mind and my joy, because I've gone through too much to get here. And I'm not allowing anybody else to get me fucked up in that. I'm not going back to that negative shit again. So if that means I got to cut your ass off because you refuse to grow up, you getting cut the fuck off. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. We have to grow up. We have to make choices. And as adults, we have to make tough choices, difficult choices. But they really shouldn't be that difficult when you look at the grand scheme of things. What's most important to you? What's more important to you? Man, family, I didn't plan on keeping you guys this long. Man, thank you all that stayed with me on this journey today. Man, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. And I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what your circumstances look like. Life is beautiful. You can either see the beauty in life or you can see the hell and chaos in life. You can focus all your attention on all the drama, all the chaos if you want to. That's the frequency you're going to vibrate on. Or you can make a choice, man. I'm going to choose to see the beauty. I'm going to choose to see the beauty in others. I'm going to choose to be a beacon of beauty, a beacon of hope. Because that's what I resonate with. That's my superpower. That's my gift to humanity. That's my gift to all those coming after me. That's my legacy. That's my legacy. Because the trip is, every one of us is going to leave a legacy. Every single one of us is going to leave a legacy. What is your legacy? What is your legacy going to be? Is your legacy going to be that, man, you were 50, 60 years old, still talking about what you should have, could have, would have did back in high school? Because there's a whole lot of them people running around. I got a lot of them in my family. They in their 50s and 60s and still talking about playing football in high school, still talking about knocking somebody out in high school, still talking about when they slept with so-and-so in high school. Because in their mind, those are the best years of their life. In high school. Those were the glory days for them. That's not my perspective. My perspective is, man, I haven't seen my best days. My perspective, I haven't even begun to see my best days. I've had some great days. Great days. But I haven't seen my best. Choices. Choices. Man, may you guys get out and enjoy your weekend. Man, I love you guys. I love you guys with every fiber of my being. And people ask me, hi, oh, hey, hold on, why do you always say I love you? Why do you always tell people you love them and you don't even know them? Family, people don't know each other and they hate each other just because of the color of their skin. People don't know each other and they hate each other because you believe in abortion or you believe in pro-choice. People hate each other because you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. People hate each other because of their religious beliefs. People hate each other over their sexual orientation. So if people can hate over stupid shit and not even know these other people, but they can hate them just because of their belief system. Or anybody that believes that, anybody that looks like that, if they can hate those people for those reasons, I could love you just because. And I love you because the God within me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the God within you. Namaste. Happy healing. Peace.